Hi guys, my name's Hannah and I'm the C5. But, well, I'm going to have to sit down because I've been on my feet I've lost track of time. My videos. I've got so many videos to try and upload and time for me at the moment is at a push. So if I get this video out of the way, there will be a few more coming soon. Right, so we've got a matter of 4 days before the rally, the car rally. So yeah, I've been working flat out. So C5 Caravan. So it's been 2019 when I started, and we're now in 2023. So 4 years. The C5 Caravan's been around, and it's looking a bit sorry for herself, and it's really down to me. I should have actually done something a bit sooner, but me being me, not having a lot of time, I seem to have neglected it a little bit, and that's something I need to sort out like this year. So let's see how. Right, C5 Caravan. Now she's looking worse for wear. The actual front panel is starting to deteriorate. Clearly that panel is only is 50mm insulation board, and it was never ever designed to be used what I'm using right now. Now I've used quite a lot of duct tape. I didn't realise, but bloody Toolstation actually do 72mm duct tape, which is kind of brilliant in a way. But yeah, now I've taken the mattresses out. I did have quite a few issues during the winter time. I had quite a lot of water in there. It's almost like a swimming pool. Literally, it was only just at the bottom level. I found out that it was actually coming in through here. So this was open. Okay, it had duct tape around it and all that. But you see this channel here, the water was getting inside the channel, coming down towards the duct tape, and then going into the car, and then obviously running down inside. I have welded a panel here and here, and I've literally done the other side, and I have sort of glued most of the seams around this area because I'm still worried that water is still going to get in. I haven't really done anything to the front here other than whack some more duct tape on. Yeah, I left this to the last minute, and that's really bad of me to do so. Yeah, I just got to get this waterproof just for the weekend, and then hopefully when we come back I can try and sort materials out to get this done properly before the National. The National is the one thing. So like I say guys, National is the one you want to go for. It's going to be quite, I would like to say it's going to be quite big this year. We did have a few ups and downs regards to Citroen themselves. Thanks very much guys. We can see where your loyalty lies. But yeah, saying that, I've still got to finish off the front, and I need to do it before the National. Also, some upgrades I decided to do. So my car had 2 7-pin sockets, and one of the 7-pin sockets had gone corroded. So I decided to update it with this 13-pin, which then obviously the C5 Caravan only had one 7-pin for the lights. Now I've got the 13-pin. Not only can I run all the lights, but it also got reverse lights as well. And to top it off, my leisure batteries are getting charged while I'm driving, because that stupid solar panel that I got up on the roof there is as much useful as a chocolate teapot. Now that's something else we're going to change. I've got a choice of two solar panels that I'm thinking of putting in. Quite tempted about the one on the right. It's only because it's a monocrystalline. The one on the left is a polycrystalline, but it's got a little bit more power. That's 120 watts, that's 100 watts. I'm more tempted to go for the monocrystalline because it works brilliantly in cloudy conditions than it would with the polyurethane one, which works in direct sunlight. And because we're England, we've got quite a lot of clouds. Something else that I've also changed is the rims. So I've taken, let me zoom in a little bit more. I've taken them three C3 wheels off because I noticed as I was towing this, it got a slight wobble, and I wasn't too sure if it was the rim against the hub or whatnot. So I'm going to play it safe. I've managed to get the other rims, so I've now got a pair of rims purely for the C5 Caravan. So she's now got her proper rims on what she should have had right out from the, when she was a car, basically. Someone nicked the wheels. I still got to change the number plate. The number plate is my van instead of my car, which is one of them. Yeah, what can I say? I haven't really done anything to this interior other than charge the batteries. Now, a lot of you guys, especially in my line of work, go, oh, you got two leisure batteries. Oh, they're not the same. And all this stuff. Yeah, they're not the same, but they're not connected. The lives are connected. Obviously, I don't want a live connection touching a terminal, but the negatives aren't. And I'm only going to connect one battery at a time. I don't connect both batteries at the same time. It's just, yeah, you can't do that. The battery starts to fight. But the reason for having one battery disconnected is when I'm at a show and I'm playing around with the suspension, and obviously say like the batteries go flat, and then I need to move this thing, because that motor takes so much power, I've got nowhere charging it up. Yeah, I could stick a pair of jump leads on, but it's just a pain. So every time it goes to a show, it's only one of those batteries are connected, and once one goes flat, I know for a fact I've got spare batteries, so I can still get myself out, so I can adjust the ride height to wherever it needs to be for me to tow this thing. Yeah, okay, we've now got the 13-pin socket now working. It's for my peace of mind, so I've always got a backup. Now, we've still got the solar panel to do. I've still got to sort that out. Yeah, it's locked like that because obviously there's no power. Mind you, we could probably put the power back on now I've done what I needed to do. There's also there's actually a mains battery charger in here that I've sort of temporarily installed. I left it loose. I've still got to sort that out. Let's just make sure that we set this thing up. Right, so I've got to unlock it and hit that button, which then opens the lock. Sweet. Obviously, when I was doing the welding, I made sure it was locked, and I disconnected the battery, obviously, because the welder uses so much power and all that stuff. There's a high chance of it affecting all my electrical gizmos. So if you're going to do any welding, make sure you disconnect the battery. And obviously now I've reconnected it, everything should still work like normal. So obviously then hit the button, that will put the tailgate open, like so. And put the key in the ignition. Where's the key? Into the ignition. And then turn that on, which then turns the rest of the system, and the alarm disables itself. So should be able to see that now. Yeah, that's lit up. And that's the stereo. Right. Also, let's just double check, make sure this boot works, which it does. There's a little switch just there. I'll flip that up, and that should now allow me to then operate the tailgate. Now, when I was doing I'm kind of hitting myself a little bit. Obviously not too hard because I turned black and blue. I've used a fire blanket in areas of where I'm doing the C5, where I'm doing the welding. Yeah, again, that was much useless as a chocolate teapot. Yeah, it's destroyed this window. Literally destroyed it. Sadly, I'm going to have to replace this window, but I'm not going to do that this week. It's going to have to be done another week. Didn't realise, but when I was actually welding, because the whole car has been galvanised, it kind of put up a bit of a fight with welding. So even though I sanded it all down and all that stuff, it still made it look crap. So that's something I've got to bear with when I come to do the main panel. I somehow got to get rid of the galvanised bit in the steel. Well guys, been burning the midnight oil. I'm bloody tired, but I've got to get this done. Literally, I've got to get this done. So yeah, 2 days I've been working on the C5 Caravan, and I'm going to try and attempt to do something that I've never done before. So I'm not going to say too much because I'm not entirely sure if it's going to work or not, but we will try and attempt to get it on this video. So a lot of people, I'm actually quite surprised, a lot of people are still asking about the C5 Caravan and what it actually does and things like that. Well, I don't always play the party piece with the old stereo because of copyright and all that stuff. But I have found my old iPod, and it is linked to the C5 Caravan, and there is a particular track that technically I could play on technically I could play on YouTube. So I have closed the doors and I will try and play some music, just so you guys can actually see that it can play music. So don't know. Let's just buzz through the track because it's a bit long. There we go. So the camera around. So that's now playing the music off here. I can lower it down. And it's using its original speakers. A bit too loud. So it is playing on its stereo. This is linked to the stereo, doing its thing. Oh, forgot to flick the switch, which is just down there. There we go. That's what I wanted. Yeah. So, guys, last night, I think it was here till about, I think it must have been about 12:30, 1 o'clock this morning. Polishing this to an inch of its life. It's had 3 coats of the wax stuff on it. Even dressed the tyres are nice and shiny. Yeah. I fitted that big solar panel. It was a 100-watt one, the monocrystalline. I have fitted that. Did have a bit of an issue regards to one of the brackets, because obviously that was an old bracket I had from that smaller one, but by the time you actually put the bracket on here, it was lifting the solar panel up too high. So I wanted it to be slightly streamlined in keeping with the car, and at a, I can live with it's slightly higher up on the back there. I can live with that, but the solar panel's relatively okay. I use quite hefty bolts, but then it goes in through hefty metal, and that panel isn't going anywhere. That's solid as a rock. I I do tend to see some solar panels, especially on motorhomes, they tend to lift at the front and yeah, go over and destroy someone, you know, someone's car behind. So, right, what I'm going to try and do is get the C5 Caravan, obviously go around the other way, into the other workshop. Let's see if I can get the C5 Caravan onto these ramps. And for the first time, and I mean literally the first time ever, we get to have a look underneath. So, I'm going to pause the video, I'm going to bring the C5 Caravan around here, and let's get cracking. Right guys, so here we have it. For the first time ever, a Citroen C5 Caravan on a ramp. Now, I'm using 3, obviously. I had to chain. Okay, it's loose, but it's only for safety, just in case the ramp moves and all that stuff. So the chain's just basically there just to, well, don't let it slip too much. It isn't going to go anywhere because obviously the wheels are up there. But yeah, for the very first time, guys, here we are underneath the C5 Caravan. Yeah, the rope that I normally use gets hooked around that should really be a chain, but I might change it to a train rather than a rope. It just goes around the axle, and the reason behind that is I'm always nervous, right? So this is part of the A bar that goes across, and it's welded to a cast iron block. I went a bit nuts on the welding. I mean, I cranked that welder to like the max, and it's very, very solid, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, I've had it for 4 years. I've towed it all over the place. Everything seems to be fine, but it's just that little thing of what if, and obviously it's got to be safety and all that stuff. Okay, it is bolted here as well on both sides, but I'm just a bit worried that if I tow it and something happens and it cracks, it just you know, it'd be dragging its rear end. So what I'm thinking of doing is possibly putting a small little chain just up here, possibly just to 100% sure. Yeah, she's suffering with the usual rust in the usual places, especially on this side. I mean, she needs a good old sanding, and yeah, but yeah, that's the underneath of the C5 Caravan. Suspension wise, notices that the boot's starting to go a bit hard, and it's popped itself off this. Other side's not too bad. So guys, what sort of suspension system is this? Was either Hydractive or Hydractive 3 Plus, and that's what this is. It's a Hydractive 3 Plus because it's got the old centre sphere on it. Pipe wise, there's only surface rust. Yeah, there's only surface rust. Yeah, it's not too bad under here. What do you reckon? The disc's past its MOT? Oh god, more bit of rubbish here. Yeah. Joys of parking this thing up on a farm. It gets a bit shitty underneath. God, and then it what on earth. Yuck. Right. But yeah, the tow bar actually comes off Sicily, the world famous C5 on YouTube. But the wiring isn't actually there. There's just nothing there at all. I'm just using this for ballast as extra weight in the back to compensate for the front. Yeah, Mounts starting to look a bit iffy. Chassis wise isn't too bad. Yeah. Yeah. Now I've still kept obviously the sensors. I've still kept them. I've still got it connected up. That's another thing that I want to do while I'm under, is extend the cables inside, so I can start putting power on certain things and see if we can get it fully working. Like on a car, you know, you jump in it, goes back up, you know, sort of thing. Yeah. This thing hasn't got brakes, but I am thinking of putting brakes back on it. So yeah, I think there's a stud or something snapped that I've got to try and sort out. But yeah, not too bad under it. Right, I'm going to quickly sort this bellows out, rust treat underneath, give it a coat of paint, and then I'll bring it back. Right guys, it's that scenario again where you get a bit too crazy with the old spray stuff, and before you know it, you're high as a kite. Yeah, kind of went nuts. As always, there's probably one or two bits I've missed. Majority of it is all done. Lucky black. Shady, shady. Yeah, there's a couple of bits here that I missed. I'll quickly go over that again, just to make sure it's all hunky-dory. Yeah. Yeah, I went a bit nuts with the old stuff underneath. Gave it a good old paint to an inch of its life. It needs painting again, really, ideally. Yeah, I've only just whack sort of like 2 layers of paint on it, so yeah. I'll quickly touch up these, and then when I finally do get the front finished, I'll then give it a really heavy dose of stone chip. Might even put that bed liner stuff on it, just to protect the underneath. So yeah, this is where we're at. Just got to get that out of the way and all that stuff. So yeah, that is basically the C5 Caravan near enough done. What I will do is put it into our compound and try and plug it in for a few days and see if we can get the batteries fully charged. So yeah, what can I say? Very, very rare opportunity to get the C5 on a ramp. Yeah, this is our first time. So right, one car done, got another one to go to. So yes, my beloved green one. She's next. So what I want to do with her is I want to put the wheel arch covers back on, get them all tightened up and stuff. She has got a bit of a quirky starter motor, so I'm humming and ahhing about, do I quickly buy a new one tomorrow, or do I just go and grab my spare one and just, when it finally dies, put the spare one on. Because it still starts and runs, it's just the starter's a bit, well, the starter's a bit weak. So yeah, actually what I might do is take it off and send it down to a mate of mine just down the road and see if we can just put new bushes and stuff in. But yeah, I've car needs to get the panels in, obviously, get washed, and then Wednesday night, oh god, Wednesday night I'm going to spend many hours getting this car polished, and then come Thursday, take this one to Stacey's. I need to get Diamond back in here, give Diamond a quick clean and a polish, ready for Friday morning when me and Stacey are taking the C5 Caravan up to the Northern Rally. This is, well, in all fairness, it's Stacey's first rally. It's the Princess and Diamond's first rally at the Northern. Obviously, a Princess has been to quite a few rallies, so has the C5 Caravan. But the Diamond, Princess and C5 Caravan, the Northern Rally is its first time. So, yes, that's going to be interesting. I think it's about 242 miles going up there. So we've got a lot of driving to do. It's going to take us about 5 hours just to get there. So yeah, I'll try and do some video on the way up. We can't guarantee that. Well guys, I'm going to leave it here because I've got a shed load of work to do. Not to mention edit this video. And little time with everything else. So yes, what can I say? If you like what you see so far, please give us a thumbs up. Obviously, this channel was originally for the C5 Caravan. Like I said, if you want to see what we've done to it from day one, where I went and bought the back end of the car, to cutting it up, to making the rear suspension work, doing all the wiring, towing it for the first time. I think there was a video of its first ever outing down at the G Rally, and we end up winning some prizes. That was its first outing as well. So yeah, if you wanna see all of that, I'll put a link in the description. And yeah, right. So I better get cracking. See you guys later.